Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies here, back at it again with an episode review. Very excited to continue this series with quite an interesting one. So, I don't know when you're watching this, but by the time you're watching this, in case the whole series is out, or I've reviewed more than one Tales episode, this is my first Tales episode that I'm reviewing. It's actually the fourth episode review I am doing, and we're already getting into the weird shit. An old story. One of the tales from Tales Book 1, Tales to Give You Goosebumps. Yeah, this is a very interesting, episode. It's very memorable for certain reasons, just because of how strange it is. And it's not really hated, but it's also not really loved, to say the least, amongst the community. So yeah, with that said, let's get into this very interesting, loved sort of themed episode, because we're doing this in February, in the month of love. So yeah, let's get to it. So what is this episode about? Well, these two kids are very hungry. Very, very, very hungry. They are literally starving like kids in Africa. So they go down in their creepy old decrepit basement to look for food. I think John is being teased by his older brother, I believe, about spiders in the basement. He's obviously not very comfortable down there, and he bails. And then at the top of the stairs magically appears a witch. Well, not really, but kinda. Aunt Dahlia, which is their aunt, well, fucking Dahlia. And she is a little bit weird. But she's also pretty normal. She does the cheek grabbing thing that all aunts and grandmas and shit do. She's here because their parents, wanted her to come here and babysit them. Their parents are actually off, I think, on a business trip. I'm not quite sure. She offers to make them something, and yeah, they're like, okay. They go play some games. Aunt Dahlia brings out some cookies, and they're very weird looking. They have black pus on them. I don't like saying that word pus. God damn it. It makes me vomit whenever I fucking hear the word pus. It's like moist with weird people. They're a little hesitant to try and bite into it, but they go ahead. And they fucking love it. They think it's actually really tasty. It's just like me when I discovered crack, y'all. Very fucking good, man. Later that night, they hear, well, at least one of them hears their aunts cackling like an evil witch. Or a bitch, but anyways, she is acting pretty weird, it sounds. They go to check, and then Aunt Dahlia barges in. She says, oh, I'm just checking on you. What are you doing out of bed? And it's kind of weird. They go to bed, and everything's good. But Aunt Dahlia is a little creepy. The next morning, they're old. Really fucking old. I'm straight to the point here. We have an overdrawn out segment of them acting old without actually seeing them. But they are extremely fucking old now. They look like they're like 70, 80, maybe fucking 90. With the worst makeup effects, probably in the entire show. Kinda. At least on their face. They look like kids with wigs, man. Oh, God. They're obviously very confused. They can't hear right. They can't see right. They feel like shit. They feel old. They probably have arthritis, God damn. Aunt Dahlia calls their mother, and she's just, shrugging everything off like, these kids are stupid. They're not that old. And yeah, the mother believes Aunt Dahlia. I mean, maybe you should email her a picture of them. I don't know if email existed at that time, but still. I don't fucking know. So yeah, the kids are just kind of stuck like this, obviously very confused. But then Aunt Dahlia says she's gonna bring over some girls later. And bring over girls later she does. The girls come over, and they are acting really fucking weird. Very, very, very charming to these kids, of course. But not only are they extremely fucking old, they seem a bit off. Very, very interested in the kids. It turns out they're out of milk in the household. I believe they offered the ladies some milk, and they're out of milk! So, one of them has to go to the store. They both tried to go, but that didn't work out. Aunt Dahlia didn't allow that. Fucking bitch. And, this kid, he's wandering around the store. He's getting treated like, with a lot of respect. Like, what the fuck? I'm just a kid. Where are you? He looks in the mirror for the first time, and he sees himself, this old, baggy piece of Garbaggio raisin. Yep. He returns home with the milk, unlike my father, and many of your guys' fathers probably, especially if you're a furry. And immediately they decide, okay, we're gonna go upstairs and, have a boys' meeting. They do have a boys' meeting, and they are obviously not fucking happy about what the fuck's going on. They quickly figure out that Aunt Dahlia is behind this shit, and that's the reason why they're super old now. And they don't know why exactly, but at least they figured that out. They try to escape through the window, but they get caught, and they just blame it on, oh, we want fresh air, yeah, fresh air, yep. Later, one of them has to go to the bathroom, totally, and we get a pooping your pants joke. Fantastic. He goes upstairs and looks for the ladies' purses and stuff, trying to figure out what the fuck these people are, and they come upstairs to discuss shit, and he hides under the bed and overhears what the fuck is going on. And it is explained that these ladies want to marry these kids. And that's why they're aged up. So they fit their age group. And it doesn't look weird, obviously. And of course, probably just insert older men. Do you see the problem here? Do you see the problem here? Pedophilia. And not to mention, they called these kids cute boys earlier the moment they walked on screen. I'm not even kidding, man. That is gross, man. Oh, God. Moving on. The kids decide, oh, okay, well, we gotta find a way out of here. We gotta make some snacks or something. So they go make snacks, or apparently they do. Really, they're just in the kitchen looking for something to do, or a way out, or something to eat, obviously, because they're hungry. Bites into an apple, doesn't really work out. One of the kids reaches into a cabinet, and he finds baby food. They blame it on their mom's cravings, because I think she's pregnant. Either way, he starts eating it, and yeah, it may or may not fucking turn him back into his younger self. Quite weird, but okay. Aunt Dahlia barges in, because she kind of figured out that they're kind of turning young. And whoop-de-doo, she's right. Her suspicions are true. And the old ladies try to stop him. They try to get the baby food. But, I kid you not, this is one of the scariest scenes in all of Goosebumps. One of the kids reaches into the fridge and grabs the entirety of the prune juice, and he splashes it onto Aunt Dahlia, and her skin melts off in a very graphic scene. No blood shown, but it's still graphic and scary looking. And we get the skeletal appearance of Aunt Dahlia, and that's on the cover of this video, by the way. It's quite fucking funny looking, and also very scary. And yeah, she turns to a pile of dust, nothing left but her clothes and, well, dust. We get a pretty funny interaction with the kids and the ladies, because, you know, they're kind of chill. They're like, alright, we're getting the fuck out of here. Now the kids are both young again, young and, you know, lively, and, yeah, they're calling their mom, one of them are. And he's like, oh, you want to hear, you want to speak to my brother, you know, your other son? And Mama's like, yeah, baby, yeah, okay. And it turns out that the baby food was really good. And we're going to leave it at that. Yep, that is an old story. What the fuck? What did I like and dislike about this episode? Well, it was kind of funny. Surprisingly, this is a more comedic episode. Even the soundtrack sounds kind of comedic. I think it's quite creepy at times, with the whole plot of what these ladies plan to do to these kids. They want to age them up, they want to marry them, and basically, against their will. It's kind of dark, and of course we have that scene of Aunt Dahlia, which is just, it's petrifying. God damn. I think the acting in this episode is great, especially from the woman who played Aunt Dahlia. Shout out to you, ma'am. You're great at this. Good actress. I believe also one of the old ladies, or maybe both of them, I'm pretty sure it's the oldest one there, have passed away, so rest in peace, ma'am. You were a great actress in this episode as well, even if you said cute boys, which was kind of weird. I also really liked the prune juice concept. It was really interesting, and this is quite a good and well-directed episode. I think all the camera shots, all the writing, all the scenes were good. Just, it's a very solid episode all throughout. The downsides and stuff I didn't like, however, pedophilia. That out of the way. It's not exactly the greatest episode. I feel like some of the dialogue and stuff is a little choppy. It's kind of, like, extremely fast-paced in the first 10 minutes. Like, it is just wasting no fucking time. And it's just kind of a batshit crazy episode. It's hard to follow the plot a little bit at times, because it's just like, what the fuck is happening? It's also a little too stupid for my liking at times. I also think the episode's story isn't that great. I think it's funny, I think it's interesting, but I don't think it's really good. Let's move on to the rating, and everything else. For the rating of this episode, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I think it was decent. I enjoyed this episode for the most part. It has some small issues with the pedophilia, and it's just being really fucking weird and kind of hard to follow. But still, it was good. For the scare meter, I'm going to give this episode probably like a 1.5. I don't think this one was very scary. It was a little dark at times, but the only scary part was definitely the scene of Aunt Dahlia. I don't think Chunky would approve this, actually. Chunky disapproved. And yeah, that's going to conclude this episode review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for Say Cheese and Die, and I'll see you guys in the next one.